Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 10. This is our last week, and it's a short week. The term ends on Friday, August 9th at 5 p.m. So just know we have a short week this week. I'm just going to go through very quickly what we're doing this week, and that's my only goal in this video. There's no new reading. So we're going to go over that. So the big thing that you're working on this week is your drafts of your resume and cover letter. And I'm asking you to turn in the drafts by the end of the day on Tuesday so I can give you some feedback. So you turn in the drafts, that's full credit. I just want to be able to give you feedback so that if there's anything I can say that will be helpful, I'm in revising them for the end of the week. You have that feedback from me, and I will try to get it to you as quickly as possible. So you have time to look at it. I've given you some page numbers where there are the examples of resumes in the book, so you can check those out, remind yourself about those. We are aiming for a one-page only resume, with the exception that if you choose to include references, which is great if you do, I'm not requiring it, but you absolutely can do that. If you do, then that can be on page 2. And just make sure that your header is on both pages in case your pages get separated. Someone would know that those are your references. So if you put the header in the actual header at the very, very top of the page, it will go on every page, subsequent page. So that should be fine. In the headers, going your name, physical mailing address, phone number, professional email address. Use clear formatting. I really am telling you, you don't need a template. I don't use a template for my own resume or CV. You can use a template if you find it useful, but sometimes the templates will have, for example, a lot of stuff on the side. And then if you don't end up using that, it makes your page width really narrow and it doesn't allow you to use the full space of the page. So that's kind of working against you. I guess I'm saying if you choose a template, just make sure the template really fulfills your needs for how you're going to put your information on there. And be careful that it doesn't have tons of colors on it. Like one color, like maybe like green is okay. But if lettering is in all different colors, if you print it out in black and white or someone else prints it out in black and white, they won't be able to read it. So it's best to stick with black and white if possible. You're going to include that career objective or target position. It's going to say that position that you're aiming this resume for. That's from the job ad. It's been fascinating to look at the job ads you found. I've really enjoyed that. I'm really enjoying reading them. So it's going to say that, and then you're going to have your education listed in reverse chronological order. So starting with the MSUN degree that you're working on right now, right, and going back. We said that you can include your GPA if it's 3.0 or above, but you don't have to include it. I do think it can be a good idea to list some relevant coursework, just a few courses that think about what would be most interesting to them at this job that you've studied these things. And you don't need to put high school on here. Then work experience, again, is going to be listed in reverse chronological order. So whatever you're doing now, or if you're not working now, the previous job that you had, the most recent one, and then working backwards. Remember, each of those jobs needs to have a bulleted list. It should be bulleted list of job duties, each one starting with an active verb. And there's examples of that in the book too. And then these are optional, so you include what makes sense for you: honors, awards, skills, certifications, or activities. Definitely, I know some of you have a number of sort of healthcare related certifications, so absolutely include those. Or if you have a lot of computer type certifications, yes, include those. We're not going to include soft skills like teamwork or communication under skills. I would instead get those in the bulleted list under work experience and or put them in your cover letter. So there's ways to cover them, but just listing as a skill isn't that useful or helpful. And again, references is optional. If you do include them, include the person's name, their job title, the company that they were working for, and however they can be contacted. If you have email and phone, great. If you have just one of those, that's okay too. But if you can find a email and phone, that both of those are helpful. Things we're not going to include, just a reminder: high school education, we're going to leave out. Marital status or parental status doesn't go on the resume. medical information of any kind. And I just say that because I've had people in the past want to put something on there about um, ADHD or their treatment for a specific thing or accommodations that they need. That's a conversation that you would have with HR after you get the job. So it's nobody's business right now, and you would work that out with HR later. So we're not going to include that. Salary information, I would not include that. Again, you'd have that conversation when you're farther along in the interview process, and you also don't want to unintentionally lowball yourself, right? Where they would have given you more, but you've said you work for this much. So no salary information, no photo, and again, be careful about colors because it can just make it really hard to read something. Then to go with your resume, the cover letter. So they're a package that goes together. The cover letter is your chance to expand a little bit more, right, on what's in the resume. So you don't want it to be you don't want to just list things like you do on the resume, right? This is your chance to say it more, right? Give some context for what you're talking about. Give an example of when you were a great communicator or you resolved a conflict or solved a problem or took initiative, right? Those would be great things to include in here. Look back at that job ad. Remind yourself, what are they saying they want the person who would fill this job to be able to do? How can you illustrate that in the cover letter? That's the key there. What language do they use? Do they talk about leadership? Do they talk about communication? Do they talk about problem solving? Do they talk about someone had a job ad, it was something about it's a supportive environment. And so I thought, oh, that's cool. You could write about how you're invested, right, in creating or maintaining a supportive environment. What have you done in other jobs to do that? That'd be cool. Use that block letter format. I've given you page numbers of where you can find it in the book, but remember, it's that the address you're sending it to, the date. I'm sorry, your address, the address you're sending it to. Oh my goodness. Your address, the date, the address you're sending it to, and then your dear so-and-so, and then single spaced paragraphs with one blank line between each paragraph. No indentation of paragraphs. Formal greeting. First paragraph, you have to say, writing to apply for, say specifically what the job is and where you found it. If you found it on Indeed.com, great, put that. And then 2 paragraphs probably about your second and third paragraph that are going to talk about how your skills meet what they're asking for in the job ad. You might have 1 paragraph about your education and 1 paragraph about your work experience. Not necessarily in that order. You could decide, right, how to organize that. But those are the things you want to kind of fill in a little bit more. And then the final paragraph, request an interview and also refer to them back to your resume. State that your resume is enclosed, right? And they can refer to that for more information. And then just a professional closing, like thank you, sincerely, best, anything like that. And just leave room for a signature, type your name at the bottom. So I'll give you some feedback, and then the revised resumes are due Friday by 5 o'clock. And sorry, it's Friday, August 9th. I'm sorry, I will fix that. It's right in the date above, but not in that. Must be last year's date. Sorry. So Friday, August 9th. Please turn the final versions in as PDFs because that way the formatting will be exactly how you want it, and you won't get any feedback from me about, weird formatting things that happen. The final exam is also due Friday by 5 p.m. and it's open book and open note. There's 10 short answer questions over key concepts and 5 short answer questions about the course itself. So I am planning to revamp this course in an upcoming term. There's a new edition of the book out, and we're switching to a different course management system. We're not going to be on Brightspace anymore. So it just seems like a good opportunity to revisit it and hopefully improve it. So I'm really interested in your feedback, and I will use it to help me make good decisions in revising the class. So thanks in advance for any help you can give me on that. And then finally, the grammar and mechanics diagnostic post-test. This is the same as the pre-test we took in week 1. It is optional. You do not have to take it, okay? But if you would like to take it for your own information or because you feel you could get a stronger grade, you're absolutely welcome to do that. I am only going to include scores that are higher than your original scores in the final grade. So it cannot harm your grade at this point. But as I said, I think I said to many people last year, I think no one chose to do the post test and everyone was fine because you've all received a number of extra credit points every week on our quizzes, right? And that's how I planned for it to work. So I think that has worked well. But this is your choice, your opportunity if you would like to do it. And if you would not like to do it, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything, just ignore it. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for a good term. I hope you have a good rest of the summer. If you have any questions about resumes and cover letters, do email me this week. I will be giving you feedback, so everyone will get feedback from me before having to turn in their final versions. But if you have a specific question, I'm always happy to hear from you. Yeah, and best wishes for the rest of your summer and moving forward. Bye.